Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a Q&A that I posted on my Instagram story for anyone to ask anything about career, advice, life, and yeah, so let's get cracking. I had about 20 to 30 different questions, I don't know if you can really see, and I've picked out the ones that I think will be most interesting to answer for you guys, and also ones that will probably help most others. So let's get right into it. First question is, how do you study most effectively and fast? So I studied my hardest probably for my GCSEs and my A-levels. If you're familiar, that's kind of the UK education system. That's before you go to university. And I had a lot of exams over the summers, and for them, the best tips I kind of could give you from my own experience is, firstly, set up a designated study space and a time. So for instance, I know I work best and revise best in the mornings. For some reason, I'm not a morning person, but my brain's more switched on in the morning. So I will put on an alarm, for instance, 8 a.m. on the weekends or on the weekdays, and I will build like a block of revision time for myself to make sure I get the revision done. In terms of the workspace, just make sure you're not around a lot of distractions like a TV, like laptops and mobile phones. Another tip I used during my A-levels was this app, which I cannot seem to find, but I will put it down in the descriptions once I found it. Basically, it's a really good app, and you essentially are growing a tree. What that means is you'll put a timer that you want to revise for. So for instance, I'll do 45 minutes. Once you click start, a tree from a seed will start to slowly grow until you hit that 45 minutes. If you decide to use your phone, unlock your phone or whatever during that time, the tree will die. And if that can't keep you on track, you can also put money on it. So you literally can pick, you can put £50 on it, you can put £5 on it. And if you go on your phone and kill that tree, the app will take that money away from you. So it's like a bit more of a motivation to make sure you don't touch the phone and just concentrate on your work. Final tip for that is practice test papers, practice questions from previous years. If there are any, I think they're the best way to really understand what the exam format will look like, what the style of questions are, and also look at the mark scheme and kind of memorize the way they want a perfect model answer, because sometimes you're explaining an answer that you think is right, but you're not using the keywords or definition. Okay, so question 2, where do you work and what do you do? If you haven't noticed already from my YouTube account, my TikTok and my Instagram, I work at Google. I do digital marketing there. In terms of exactly what I do, I will be speaking more about this in other videos. If you haven't already watched it, my very first video was all about how I got into Google, so make sure you go and watch that. Question 3, what do you love most about working at Google? That's a really good question. For me, hands down, is the culture and the openness of everyone. I think the ability for you to literally just grab a coffee, or if you're interested in another area that is unrelated to your team, you can literally reach out to the stranger at Google and be like, hey, I'm really intrigued about your role. Can we organize a chat for me to get to know you and the role a bit better? So the ability for you to meet new people and the willingness that people have to help you and meet you is so good. And everyone's just pretty much so friendly and intelligent at the same time. So I think it's a win-win. Question 4, how did you decide on what you wanted to do in your future? Long story short, I didn't. I studied science-orientated A-levels at biology, chemistry, psychology, PE, and nothing marketing related. For me, it was through my hobbies and the things I do outside of my own time. So for instance, I started doing an Instagram fitness channel because I was really into fitness, and I still am. And through that, I started to see the analytics behind it, what kind of demographics of people are watching my videos, and the demand that also came up with it. I really enjoyed kind of marketing my own personal brand and the social aspect of it. And then I went on to start TikTok, more career focused and helping others. And now I think I'm nearly on like 38,000 followers. If you haven't already, make sure you follow my TikTok account. It's actually very entertaining. I can almost guarantee you that, and the description will be down below. My point being, it was you don't necessarily have to study something specific to something you want to go into. If it's something that you can pull transferable skills from, or invest your own time to volunteer somewhere or part-time work somewhere or do something for yourself, it will be just as beneficial when you go in for interviews in a specific role. The final thing was just the demand for the future. I kind of looked at what industries are going to be booming. I'm going to do another video all to do with my thoughts on the future and kind of the industries that I think is worth looking into if you haven't already. But for instance, tech companies, tech, coding, data-orientated roles, but also digital marketing. Everything's becoming more digital. With COVID happening, shops are struggling, so they're gonna have to find a way to become more digital and also stand out. So in order to do that, you'll need a good digital marketer. So yeah. Question number 5, did you lose out on anything by doing an apprenticeship? That's a good question, and a lot of people do ask me this. One thing, to be honest, I thought I was going to be majorly losing out on is a social life. You know how university people go, there's freshers week, there's parties, you meet so many people, you live with people. And I thought I was going to miss out on that, and that was probably one of the reasons I didn't want to do an apprenticeship. However, it has completely proven me wrong, because I have met the most amazing cohort of apprentices. We all get along. There's people my age, there's people like 5 years older than me, but we all get on equally. We all respect each other. We invite each other around. We go to pubs, bars, cafes, and also like the community of apprentices, there's events you can go to. So we technically had a similar freshers event before we started the apprenticeship. There was a Christmas boat party on the River Thames. This wasn't done by Google, this was done by White Hat, which is kind of like a organization who helps match apprentices with companies. And the other thing I'd say was living alone, or not necessarily living with housemates like you do at university. However, it doesn't mean you can't do that during an apprenticeship. My friends within the cohort, the ones that mostly came from like up north or really far out and would have to relocate into London in order to do the apprenticeship, about 6-7 of them decided to have a house together, like rent a house together in central London. So literally the coolest experience ever, living in London with a group of young people, and it's literally no different to university. So no, I did not miss out on anything. Question number 6, what would you do differently if you could go back in time? So I would definitely believe in myself more. The reason why I say that, when you're at school, it's quite hard to kind of not get hooked in with what everybody else is doing and following the crowd. University literally seemed like the only option and only opportunity to take up. Everyone was going to do it, whether it was a gap year or university, they were going to do it, and we didn't really hear almost anything about apprenticeships or other routes to be preached as much as university. So believe in your gut, see what kind of industry you want to go into, whether you require a degree for it necessarily, and whether like the learning style is something that suits you. If you like exams, if you like textbook learning and independent learning, then university could be for you. If you're someone like me who does like learning academically but also learn really well practically on the job as well, or in a more buzzing environment, then you might want to consider other routes as well. And the final question I'm going to touch on today is, what industries do I think is going to boom post-COVID? That's a very good question. There is no right or wrong answer. However, I do have a sense of what industries are going to be struggling more and what industries are on the right track. Travel, hospitality, I think they're kind of industries that are struggling as of now. And I think it will take a long time for them to get back onto their feet. However, industries such as cybersecurity, data-oriented industries, marketing, and e-commerce as well, I think they're all going to be industries that are already and will continue to excel. The reason why I say e-commerce, if you don't know what that means, it's basically your online store selling online. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of businesses are going to be shutting down over COVID, and the ones that aren't, they need some form of strategy to bring themselves online their presence, their selling point, their products. So I think that's another area that is going to be super emphasized in the future and something to look into. I hope you enjoyed these questions and they were useful for you guys and also interesting. If you haven't already, make sure to give this video a like, comment down below any other suggested types of videos you'd want me to talk about. And most importantly, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be posting every Sunday without a break, educating you guys, helping you guys get through your futures as young people. And finally, if you've already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you also follow, because you can't subscribe on TikTok. Make sure you also follow my TikTok account. I post every day on there without a break, all things marketing, apprenticeships, internships. So make sure you also follow that, links down below. Really hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye.